Greetings, YouTube. Lots of folks in the world think that there was a golden age. And sometimes it's a nebulous, it's 1950s and 1960s. And some people are a little bit more personal. They can look back and say, okay, the world was better at, and they'll often give you a year or a bracket of years when they think that was the best. And they've done studies on this. And the conclusion is that most people believe that the time just before they came out of adolescence was the best time in the world. Because at that point in their lives, they had a whole lot of people protecting them from the real world. They had parents and grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers. They had coaches. They had all kinds of people that were protecting them from the real world. So when they entered the real world, even if nothing else changed, as they came to understand how the real world functions, they got this uneasy sense that things are not as good. But the world has always been that complex. It's just that when we are adolescents, we're simpler. We have undeveloped brains. The human brain doesn't really stop developing until you're 25. Well after, most people get out of college. And it's just that in our state of ignorance, perchance even we want to view it as blissful ignorance, we think of the past as being the best because that's the last time we can remember when we weren't burdened with the reality of the world around us. Now, some of us came from less than ideal backgrounds. And for us, there was never a point in our lives when it was best. Ever. Not all the way back we can remember. And I can remember really far back. And there was never a point in my life where things were perfect. Things were the best. The now has always been the best for me because I've gotten smarter and more educated and I've gained a little wisdom and a bunch of therapy and pharmaceuticals. So, and been diagnosed with executive dysfunction and with autism. So all of these things have helped me have the best time now when it comes to what it's like in here and to have the understanding that right now is the best time for me personally. I don't think the era before I became an adult was somehow a golden age because it wasn't. But for most people, it is because they were raised in relatively healthy households. And so they can pretend that was the best time ever. But they carry that into the adulthood. And politicians use that against them and get them to vote for horrible laws and horrible politicians with the promise that things will return to that state of grace. Except that ship has sailed. You can't ever get back there. And pretending you can is just delusional. And if you're willing to drown the entire world around you in the vain hope that you can, get on that board that ship once again and once again feel that sense of safety and security that you felt when you were 12, that's an abomination. Your willful ignorance is going to get people killed, has gotten people killed, will get people killed in the future and the present. So stop pretending that the past was the best because it wasn't. The world has always been complex. It's just that at one time you were simpler. I'm hoping now that you're an adult that you've gotten a little more complex.